President Donald Trump and rushed.
Give me one to the chat if you guys could hear this.
Take a look at what happened.
Secret Service agents swarmed former President Donald Trump and rushed him off stage after a gunman fired shots during his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania.
We had what we're calling an assassination attempt.
That's the special agent of charge, if I'm not mistaken, for Pittsburgh, FBI Pittsburgh. And then you can see here, state police, top of the food chain for state police. And then here we go, that's ATF right here. This guy's probably a higher level manager as well over at ATF.
Against our former president, Donald Trump. It's still an active crime scene.
Trump said he was shot by a bullet that pierced the upper part of his right ear. On his Truth social media platform, he wrote, quote, "I knew immediately that something was wrong and then I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin." A New York Times photographer captured this image of what appears to...
Guys, look at how close he was. We're talking millimeters from death, guys. Like, literally millimeters from death. Wild, wild stuff, man. Literally, you can see the bullet right there.
Show a bullet.
And he literally turned his head at the last second and boom, dodged it. And it nicked his ear.
Racing by the former president's head. The FBI identified the gunman as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. They say he fired shots from outside the secure cordoned area of the rally, atop an elevated structure.
He starts shooting. Bow, 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 bow. About 4 to 5 shots rang out.
Law enforcement converged on Crooks' family's suburban Pittsburgh home overnight.
They asked us to leave our house. They told us it was a state of emergency. No warning, they just knocked on the door in the middle of the night.
Officials say the gunman fired 6 to 8 rounds from an AR-15 assault rifle before he was shot and killed by a member of the Secret Service counter-assault team. The FBI called it, quote, surprising that he was able to fire at the stage before he was killed.
We do not currently have an identified motive, although our investigators are working tirelessly to attempt.
We do know that this guy was a Trump hater.
To identify.
I mean, that's plain to see, but we do know that he disliked Trump quite a bit. From there was, I think, a story told on one of the spaces today that he went up to a lunch table before and said, "Oh, I hate Trump, blah, blah, blah."
What that motive was.
Last night's rally in Pennsylvania was former President Trump's last before the Republican National Convention gets underway here in Milwaukee.
I might be there, guys. I think I might be there.
Right now, plans are underway to expand the security perimeter around this venue. President Biden spoke with Trump Saturday evening. He condemned the attack.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick.
Trump was treated at a local hospital. He returned to his golf club in New Jersey.
Chanting USA, obviously, when he's saying fight, fight.
Early this morning.
All right, and then we got another one here. This goes more into the shooter's background, guys. So sit back and let's learn a little bit about Thomas Matthew Crooks, guys.
And tonight, federal investigators are delving into Crooks' history. He's being described as a highly intelligent loner who...
Audio should be good. Give me ones in the chat if audio is good, guys. It doesn't have to be all of you. I need to see a little bit of ones, and I know I'll be good. But this should be better audio than the last video.
Somehow had a secret plan to kill the former president. Police say they found suspected bomb-making material in Crooks' car and evacuated 2 square blocks in Bethel Park while searching his parents' home. That's where we find KDKA lead investigator Andy Sheehan, who shares what he's found out about the would-be assassin. And Andy, what can you tell us?
As you can see, law enforcement cordoned off the place yesterday, guys. So, matter of fact, I'll pull the video up for you guys while we play this. Well, I'll show you better than I can tell you.
America, news that Thomas Crook was behind this assassination attempt comes as a shock to this quiet Bethel Park neighborhood. Tonight, he remains a puzzle to federal investigators and his former classmates.
Thomas Crooks.
There is a high school graduation approximately 2 years prior.
To a smattering of applause, Thomas Matthew Crooks, who failed in his assassination attempt on former President Trump, is seen here graduating from Bethel Park High School 2 years ago. News of his brazen act comes as a shock to his former classmates.
Anyone who knew him, close or not, it was just not something that we would have ever seen coming.
Described as a highly intelligent student who excelled in advanced placement classes in both history and math, former...
And this is from my Twitter yesterday, as you guys can see here. This is from Crowder.
Why not?
One of the Mug Club members tried to go to Crook's house last night when the news broke out.
Excuse me. What's going on?
I have no idea.
What? I can't go down the road?
Nope.
Why not?
Because I was told to close it.
What's that?
Because I was told to close it.
Okay. Are you Secret Service?
No, I'm not.
You're not.
You would quit photographing me.
Well, I'm allowed to, sir.
Well, you can move on, too.
I can, but I'm allowed to photograph.
You can get out of the way. I got traffic coming. You can go.
I'll go.
Now.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. So clearly they didn't want them there. And the reason why, guys, that we're finding out now is that they found explosives in his car, and they had to, that's why they had to make such a big circumference around the property, because they were worried that he would have explosives at his house as well. So now we know the reason why, right? And like I said before, law enforcement is not going to disclose anything like when it's ongoing investigation. But that now we know why they didn't want anyone around there, and they created a perimeter.
Former classmate. Described as a highly intelligent student who excelled in advanced placement classes in both history and math, former classmate Summer Barkley said he was quiet, kept to himself, but was always with the ready answer.
Everyone kind of knew him as the kid that knew everything. So everything, we would always joke, say, I bet Thomas knows the answer to this question. If we don't, Thomas knows it.
Like, you could look at him and you would be like, something's a little off.
Though Barkley said Crooks did have a few friends, others described him as a loner with an odd demeanor who was picked on by other students.
He did sit alone at lunch. Like, he was always alone. I mean, he was bullied every day.
Crooks is the son of Matthew and Mary Crooks, here in this middle-class neighborhood in Bethel Park. State records show both parents are licensed behavior.
And Bethel Park, guys, I broke this down yesterday. Bethel Park, it's approximately an hour away, 52 miles on I-79 North.
Behavioral counselors. Matthew works nearby at community care.
So both parents, they said,
behavioral here in this middle-class neighborhood in Bethel Park. State records show both parents are licensed behavioral counselors. Matthew,
isn't that crazy? Licensed behavioral counselors, both of them.
Works nearby at Community Care Behavioral Health, a subsidiary of UPMC Health Plan. Despite his academic achievements, Barkley said after graduation, Thomas Crooks did not go away to college and instead stayed home, living with his parents and enrolled in the Community College of Allegheny County. Sources say federal law enforcement is investigating his mental health history and emotional state leading up to the shooting. The FBI confirms it was Matthew Crooks who legally purchased the AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle his son used in the attack, which wounded the former.
So the AR-15 belonged to his father, and I talked about this in one of the spaces earlier. So guys, the way this works, right? When you purchase a firearm in the United States, okay, you have to fill out a form. This form, to be exact. Okay. This form right here, my friends. Okay. So when you're buying a gun, you got to fill out this form. And this form, right, obviously asks you a bunch of questions. Have you ever been adjudicated as a mental defective or ever been committed to a mental institution? Have you been discharged from the armed forces under dishonorable discharge conditions? Are you subject to court order, including military protection order, etc., right? And this is actually the form that Kodak Black signed incorrectly and went to jail for. This is also the form that Hunter Biden incorrectly signed and got arrested for as well, because he was under the use of drugs, and that makes him a prohibited person. And then for Kodak, he was under indictment in another jurisdiction. Let me see if I can find here. Boom. Are you under indictment or information, any court or felony? And as you guys know, Kodak had that sexual assault case out of, I think it was North or South Carolina. It was one of the two Carolinas. And he checked this as no, which obviously that's a lie. And then we had for Hunter Biden, Are you an all unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana or any depressant stimulant, etc., right? And he put yes when he really was. And lying on this form, guys, constitutes false statements, right? Let's see here if they put it here. I further certified that the firearms transfer is within 30 days. Okay. Okay. Not going to read all that. It's boring. But you guys get the idea. This is basically you putting your stuff, signing. And if you lie on this form, it's going to create problems because it's an official document, right? And this is what you have to fill out to get a gun every time. Now, why do I say this? That's how they're able to trace the gun back. So the AR-15 was purchased by his father. And anytime a gun is used as in a crime in the United States, guys, they're going to go into a database called eTrace. Okay, ATF has a database called eTrace. And in that database, they're able to pull this form and figure out who originally purchased that gun. And they will go ahead and go back to that individual and interview them and figure out how that gun ended up where it's at. So let's go into a dream scenario, right? In this situation, right? Let's say Fresh, right? I buy a pistol. I buy my Glock, right? And I sell it to Fresh. I'm like, yo, Fresh, I don't want this Glock anymore. I'm getting a better one. Here you go. Sell it to him, right? For $500. I get a bill of sale, or if I'm smart, I'll do a bill of sale, which, by the way, pro tip, guys, do not sell your guns. And if you do, sell it with a bill of sale. Okay? And you're going to see why here in a second. Fresh takes the gun. I don't see him for 10 years, right? Next thing I know, I get a knock at my door. FBI, open up! And I'm like, what the fuck? I get up, open the door, and there's ATF and FBI agents. Hey, we got some questions about this gun that you purchased 10 years ago. Wait, what? That Glock? Oh, man, I fucking sold that shit. I'm half asleep and shit, getting a crust at my... Yeah, I sold that, man. I sold it to this black nigga. You can't talk. Walter Weeks, yeah. You approve of that, sir? I showed them the bill of sale. Hopefully I kept that thing, right? I sold it to him. Okay, cool. Because your name came up as the original purchaser of this gun. And then they're going to go ahead and talk to Walt, right? And then they can work their way back and then figure out, because it might not be Walt who committed the crime. It might be Walt sold the gun to someone else and the gun got passed or got stolen, right? This is why also, guys, if your gun is ever stolen, report that shit immediately, okay? Because if that gun turns up in the middle of a crime scene, they're coming to you, and you want to be able to have that plausible deniability or alibi, for lack of better terms, as to why that gun was involved in a crime, right? But eTrace is always going to get you back to the original purchaser. As a matter of fact, this is how they were able to identify Crooks so quickly, guys, is because it was his father, and then they just worked their way backwards and figured out it was his son. Because when he was killed, and when they found him on the scene, he didn't have identification with him for obvious reasons, right? Dude was going to try to assassinate the president. Probably doesn't want to walk around with his ID, right? But this is the form right here. Give me ones in the chat if this makes sense, guys. Now you guys know what the ATF 4473 form is. You guys understand what eTrace is. You understand what the ATF is. And you understand how guns are traced in the United States. Give me ones if you learned something. Give me twos if you're confused. And if you're going to say why you're confused, say the two and tell me specifically why. All right, so I can answer that. Sweet. I really love when I see all these ones that you guys are learning. Really, really enjoy that shit, man. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I don't see any twos. Someone said two just got here. Rewind, nigga. Mark, what ways can they trace it from here? They use a database called eTrace, guys. eTrace is the database. And normally it takes you 24 hours to like a week to get a response. The fact that everybody get it back so quickly tells you, obviously, how much of a priority this was for law enforcement. So, how do you obtain a bill of sale? That's just something you could do by yourself, man. You guys are clowns. All right, we'll get back into this video. You guys are putting twos and trolling. All right.
Former president killed an attendee and critical.
Someone said, good question. Does adjudication count too? Yeah. Like if you've been marijuana use exemplify you from owning a firearm? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it does, guys. Guys, why do you think I'm so big on telling y'all not to use alcohol, not to use weed, right? Guys, if you smoke weed and you get caught with a gun, you could jam yourself up from a federal standpoint because marijuana is still considered a controlled substance. Okay, guys? If you are an American that loves the Second Amendment, do not smoke marijuana, man. It's just not worth it, bro. It's really not worth it. It's still a federal crime, guys. It's still illegal federally. All right? So good, fantastic question. 2, will the father be liable? I don't think so at this point, guys. I know they definitely interviewed him, but I don't think he's going to be liable in this situation. Hey, Mark, can you explain the pros and cons for both HSI and FBI in terms of being a special agent? If you represented officers for both, which more is desirable to go with? You had a CGJO from the FBI. Yes, I did have a conditional job offer from the FBI. That is a fantastic question. I'll go ahead and answer that. HSI versus FBI job quality. I will go ahead and answer that for you once we get through this stuff. I'll do that at the end, King Darula. Good question. Fantastic question, actually. 2, how did they find out the identity so quickly? I told you, through E-Trace. That's how they find us so quickly. Let's see if there's any other things in the chat here that I missed. What if the gun is unregistered? Every gun is going to be traced back somewhere, guys. You can't procure a weapon in the United States. There's going to be, the only way that it won't be registered to some degree is if, like, they scratch serial numbers off, etc. But every gun in the United States is going to be involved with some, like, FFL, unless it's, like, some fucking historic antique type gun or something. But you run that serial number, it's probably going to be an E-Trace, guys. So, all right, good questions, guys. Really good inquisitive questions.
Wounded 2 others.
That's why it's a federal crime to scratch a serial number off a gun, by the way, guys.
Another student tells CBS News.
Someone said even if it's smuggled over the border. Remember, guys, guns go south. Mexicans need the guns down there because they're legal in their country. Guns don't normally come into the United States. They go south. Keep things simple, guys. Drugs comes north into the United States. Money and guns flow south of the United States. Guns are easy to get in the United States, so Mexico wants them. Drugs are hard to get in the United States, so Americans want them. There you go. That's the equation. And the money goes south as well because it's to pay off the drug traffickers.
As a freshman, Thomas Crooks unsuccessfully tried out for the rifle team at the high school, but did not make it for being a poor shot. Other students...
He was a part of a gun club as well, this guy.
Students tell us Crooks had a keen interest in history and government affairs, but did not display overt political feelings. According to Pennsylvania voter records, he was a registered Republican. But there is also this Federal Campaign Commission record of a 2021 donation giving $15 to Act Blue, a progressive political action committee which funds left-leaning Democratic candidates. His mother, Mary, is a registered Democrat, and his father, Matthew, is a libertarian. Residents were evacuated last night when federal agents commenced the search of the house and have not been able to return.
No, and my wallet and everything.
And I told you guys this, like, they're turning that house upside down, guys.
Everything is in my...
They do have his phone, by the way, guys. They sent it over to Quantico because obviously it's going to need a passcode to be opened.
House, so I've been driving around with this dog all night.
Now, this neighborhood has been evacuated and will be evacuated until further notice. Meanwhile, federal investigators are trying...
And that's because they're not sure of the extent of the explosives.
...to put together the puzzle that is Thomas Crooks. Reporting live in Bethel Park, Andy Sheehan, KDKA TV News.
Andy, thank you.
All right, so we're going to go into Biden, his address to the nation.
Blood clearly on his fingers. The Secret Service says the suspect was armed with that rifle that was legally purchased by his father. Tonight, we want to listen to the president as he now addresses the nation about this political violence, this attempted assassination. Let's listen.
If I'm not mistaken, this was around 8 p.m. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he addressed the nation tonight at around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
To the president.
So about
Fellow Americans, I want to speak to you tonight about the need for us to lower the temperature in our politics. And to remember, while we may disagree, we are not enemies. We're neighbors. We're friends, co-workers, citizens, and most importantly, we're fellow Americans. We must stand together. Yesterday's shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania calls on all of us to take a step back, take stock of where we are, how we go forward from here. Thankfully, former Trump is not seriously injured. I spoke with him last night.
Former Trump. Oh, my God, bro. This guy can't not fuck up at some point.
I'm grateful he's doing well, and Jill and I keep him and his family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victims who was killed. Corey was a husband, a father, a volunteer firefighter, a hero, sheltering his family from those bullets. We should all hold his...
Rest in peace to that firefighter that passed away. He was shot while trying to shield his family during the chaos.
Family and all those injured in our prayers. Earlier today, I spoke about an ongoing investigation. We do not know the motive.
He did address the nation earlier today, guys. Around, he was supposed to go at 1:30. He didn't end up coming closer to 2 until closer to 2. I was up earlier. And he didn't say much. All he said that, you know, we're going to beef up Trump's security and this was terrible. He gave the typical political talking points.
The shooter yet. We don't know his opinions or affiliations. We don't know whether he had help or support or if he communicated with anyone else. Law enforcement professionals, as I speak, are investigating those questions. Tonight, I want to speak to what we do know. A former president was shot, an American citizen killed, while simply exercising his freedom to support the candidate of his choosing. We cannot, we must not go down this road in America. We've traveled before throughout our history. Violence has never been the answer. Whether it's with members of Congress of both parties being targeted and shot, or a violent mob attacking the Capitol on January 6th, or a brutal attack on the spouse of former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, or information and intimidation.
Yeah, I could cover that case for you guys in the future as well. That was wild.
On election officials.
Dude was attacking her husband with a hammer.
Or the kidnapping plot against the sitting governor. Or an attempted assassination on Donald Trump. There is no place in America for this kind of violence, or for any violence ever. Period. No exceptions. We can't allow this violence to be normalized. You know, the political record in this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down. We all have a responsibility to do that. Yes, we have deeply felt strong disagreements. The stakes in this election are enormously high. I've said it many times that the choice in this election we make in this election is going to shape the future of America and the world for decades to come. I believe that with all my soul. I know that millions of my fellow Americans believe it as well. And some have a different view as to the direction our country should take. Disagreement is inevitable in American democracy. It's part of human nature. But politics must never be a literal battlefield, and God forbid, a killing field. I believe politics ought to be an arena for peaceful debate, to pursue justice, to make decisions guided by the Declaration.
And, you know, obviously he's getting a little bit of heat because he made a comment about Trump has got to be a part of the bullseye, blah, 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 all this stuff. Guys, I don't think, you know, people are, the tinfoil hats are coming out. Trump, you know, this was an inside job to get Trump killed with Biden's Secret Service, etc. From the data I have, guys, it doesn't look that way. This looks to me like to be incompetence, right? Obviously, more facts will come out and we'll see. But, you know, I think this is obviously just a very, heated campaign, and they're taking a lot of low blows at each other. And obviously, it sucks that a former president was shot in this situation. But I think that's what Biden's trying to do here is de-escalate the heatedness of this presidential campaign.
Declaration of Independence in our Constitution. We stand for an America, not of extremism and fury, but of decency and grace. All of us now face the time of testing as the election approaches. And the higher the stakes, the more fervent the passions become. This places an added burden on each of us to ensure that no matter how strong our convictions, we must never descend into violence. The Republican convention will start tomorrow. I have no doubt they'll criticize my record and offer their own vision for this country. I'll be traveling this week making the case for our record and the vision, my vision of the country, our vision. I'll continue to speak out strongly for our democracy, stand up for our Constitution and the rule of law, to call for action at the ballot box, no violence on our streets. That's how democracy should work. We debate and disagree. We compare and contrast the character of the candidates, the records, the issues, the agenda, the vision for America. But in America, we resolve our differences at the battle box. You know, that's how we do it, at the battle box, not with bullets. The power to change America should always rest in the hands of the people. not in the hands of a would-be assassin. You know, the path forward through competing visions of the campaign should always be resolved peacefully, not through acts of violence. You know, we're blessed to live in the greatest country on earth, and I believe that with every soul, every power of my being. So tonight, I'm asking every American to recommit, to make America, think about it. What's made America so special? Here in America, everyone must be treated with dignity and respect, and hate must have no safe harbor. Here in America, we need to get out of our silos, where we only listen to those with whom we agree, where misinformation is rampant, where foreign actors fan the flames of our division to shape the outcomes consistent with their interests, not ours. Let's remember, here in America, while unity is the most elusive of goals right now, nothing is more important for us now than standing together. We can do this. You know, from the beginning, our founders understood the power of passion. So they created a democracy that gave reason and balance a chance to prevail over brute force. That's the American we must be. An American democracy where arguments are made in good faith. An American democracy where the rule of law is respected. An American democracy where decency, dignity, fair play aren't just quaint notions, but living, breathing realities. We owe that to those who come before us, to those who gave their lives for this country. We owe that to ourselves. We owe it to our children and our grandchildren. Look, let's never lose sight of who we are. Let's remember we are the United States of America. There is nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. God bless you all. May God protect our troops.
President Biden calling on unity from this country.
You know, and that's what, you know, typical. Obviously, he's going to try to de-escalate the situation. That's what I predicted he would do, right? That's his job as a president. Let's go ahead and look at this BlackRock commercial. A lot of you guys are asking me about this BlackRock commercial. I'll play it. It made its rounds on Twitter today. Let me see here. You see him for a split second, guys. But let's see here. BlackRock commercial. Is it in here? No. Look, we not find. Oh, here we go. This is it.
My name is Brian DeLallo. I teach AP and Honors Economics.
There he is right here. See him? There's your boy right there, man. With that weird-ass chin and face. Weird fucked up hair. There he is right there in front of the class.
In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Financial well-being to me is knowing that I can be free to do the things that I love to do.
Yeah, fuck BlackRock, bro. See if we can get another thing here. This lame music.
Someday they say, you know, that guy made this place a special place to come to school.
Yeah, oh, you missed it right there. Hold on, my bad, guys.
And gave as much as he could to help the community. Gave as much as he could to a special place to come.
Boom, there he is right there.
To school.
There he is. A more of a close-up. Not this guy definitely wasn't blessed with handsome genetics. I'll tell you how that. Holy. No wonder he was pissed off and ostracized.
And gave as much as he could to help the community.
Yeah, going crazy to chat L underbite. Oh my God, bro. But yeah, that is him, guys. You can see him from here. In the beginning of the video, sitting right here. And then you can see him again. Here.
The place to.
Hold on. See if we get a still shot. Yeah, it's an ugly nigga, man. I ain't gonna lie. God damn, bro. No wonder he was so pissed.
To come to school and gave as much as he.
Hey guys, he was only 20 years old, this dude. Fucking kid, man. Fucking idiot, man. All right, so let's see what's the latest with the news. So we know who the shooter is now. Bit of his background. Let's go and see what's going on with the news. And
with that, but certainly if you started, you know, even
the
if
RNC
you just
starts
put
tomorrow.
rounds in and around, like the front entrance or something, or one of the entrances there, and rounds just started impacting, you know, it may not be a
cause a massive destruction, but it would certainly cause massive disruption if you were there. There was a crowd that was near or in or around the RNC, and all of a sudden rounds.
I'm gonna read chats here as well, guys. Get your chats, and I'm gonna read your chats.
That would definitely make the news. And
we got 5,500 you guys watching on YouTube and another 2,100 you guys watching on Rumble, man. Shout out to all you guys. Like the video, guys. Do me a favor. Let's push this thing up in the algorithm. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. I'm probably going to have to take down the video off Fresh and Fit, man, unfortunately, guys, which kind of sucks. So I'll re-upload it for you ninjas. Clean it up a bit, re-upload it. But do me a favor, guys, and like the video. I'll definitely put it back up on Castle Club, which, by the way, guys, we are 7,100 plus guys strong on Castle Club. It's fucking lit, man. 7,100 plus you guys on Castle Club, guys. So do me a favor, join Castle Club, guys. CastleClub.tv, as you guys know, is the home base for us. We're demonetized on YouTube. It sucks. We're probably not going to get remonetized. I don't know. We reapplied. But if you guys really support me, support the content, I've been grinding like crazy the past 24 plus hours with the shooting going on. I'd really appreciate that. It goes towards, pushing the mission. Obviously, doing this Fed Reacts, I'm not getting paid to do this. You guys give some donations here and there. But, to run this show is very expensive. I mean, hell, just this studio alone, guys, this is my second studio where I run Fed Reacts. This in itself was a bunch of money. And then, obviously, to do the main show where we had the main arena there outside is even more so. So I really appreciate it if you guys would support CastleClub.tv. We're going to do a Zoom call either tomorrow or sometime this week. So we're giving a lot of value. We got a bunch of generals in different parts of the country. So, yeah.
And it would cause.
And those generals are in charge of running Telegram groups and different groups.
A lot of reaction, if you will, at the RNC with Secret Service and others just because of that. The special agent that was basically giving the press conference kept turning back to somebody behind her, and I kind of got the sense that person was probably the special agent in charge. She was the ASAC that was actually working the National Security Special Event. That's just kind of what I gleaned from it. I don't know.
See if we can get that. That was earlier. Yeah. Let's see what the Secret Service has to say, because they held a press conference on this before. So let's see what they got to say. Well, we're going to break down everything, guys.
That the Secret Service was not active. That all the state officials and the FBI was there, but yet the Secret Service has been absent. As a result, it just raises all sorts of questions about why the Secret Service is not willing to answer questions.
So again, I'm the Secret Service's RNC coordinator, so I can speak to the RNC security planning. I'd refer any questions regarding yesterday's incident to our DC Public Affairs Office.
She ain't gonna say shit about that.
Yes, ma'am. Mark Meredith of Fox News. I'm curious, obviously you don't want to talk about what happened in Pennsylvania. Have you had to change your security posture at all here? And if so, how? Is it a small percent change? Is it looking over everything once again? And then a follow-up question would be, just in terms of resources, I know you mentioned 18 months has been going into this. Do you feel like you've had all the resources you needed to get to this point today, or do you feel like more work needs to be done?
So as Mayor Johnson and Chief mentioned, this is a national special security event. That designation is the highest level of security designation that the federal government can determine. So we are confident in the security plans that are in place for this event, and we're ready to go. It's been an 18-month process. We've worked together over that 18 months to develop operational security plans for any and all aspects of security related to this event.
But did it change within the last one? And any change been made in the last 24 hours?
So they're asking if they changed anything in the past 24 hours, given the fact that Trump was almost assassinated.
We're not anticipating any changes to our operational security plans for this event.
Thank you.
Right there in the front in the orange dress.
They're not going to, here's the thing, guys. Obviously, they're going to be on higher alert, right? She doesn't want to alarm them and say, oh, yeah, we made changes. No, we're sticking to what we got. Doesn't want to look bad. But they're absolutely going to be on way higher alert given the RNC tomorrow.
Okay. Mary Smith with Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers told us a little bit ago that he is calling for the Secret Service to ban firearms, guns in soft perimeter, not just in nicer forum. Is that something that the Secret Service is considering or is doing?
I have not had any conversations regarding that, so I can't speak to that.
Okay. He said that he had requested the Secret Service. Do you know if that request was actually made at this point? Or?
I have not had any conversations regarding that, so I can't speak to that.
Is the Secret Service currently anticipating or currently planning to expand the perimeter?
We're not anticipating any changes to our current security footprint or plan.
Including allowing firearms into the soft perimeter as it is right now?
Anything in the soft perimeter is outside of our federal jurisdiction.
Why should former President Trump, his family, and the convention goers have confidence in the U.S. Secret Service to secure this site here over the next 4 days?
Yo, the Secret Service, guys, just so you guys know, right? This is kind of funny to me because the Secret Service hasn't been under scrutiny like this since like the fucking 80s when they tried to kill Reagan. So you can see like just how uncomfortable and pissed off they are that they're even doing this press conference, bro. Like, this is not an agency that is used to getting up in front of the American public and talking about what they do. Just so you guys know, the FBI is used to it, Homeland's used to it, DEA even, etc., because they're doing criminal cases all the time. They're talking to the public. Secret Service does not get up there and talk to the general public like that, guys. So you can see how fucking uncomfortable they are during this, you know? Maybe it's just me because I can see it as a former agent myself, like how pissed off they are to even be here answering these fucking questions. Because they normally don't have to answer the American public like this.
After his life was nearly taken yesterday in Pennsylvania.
So this event has been designated as a national special security event, which is the highest level of security for an event that can be designated by the government. So this is a whole of government approach. We've had an extensive planning process to include many organizations building out the operational security plans for any and all aspects of security related to this event.
Have you had the resources you need?
Yes, we are fully prepared and have a comprehensive security plan in place, and we're ready to go.
She doesn't want to tell the truth that Secret Service has been suffering from attrition for a very long time, and their agents always leave the agency because it has the highest divorce rate and is one of the toughest 1811 jobs in the fucking country. But I digress.
Kayla Huey-Burns, CBS News. Why are you not expanding the perimeter?
So we're confident in the current plan that we have. It is based off of technical assessments, protective intelligence, and we are continuously monitoring information related to the event. So we're confident in the plans that we have, and we're moving forward with those plans.
And why are you not concerned that people can carry firearms within that soft perimeter?
So again, the Secret Service inner perimeter is our primary jurisdiction, so I would defer any questions related to outside of that zone to my partners here on the stage.
See if any of them are going to talk.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've understood in regards to the inner perimeter, it's the largest inner perimeter that has been part of the convention.
So this guy might be Secret Service Uniform Division, if I'm not mistaken. Secret Service does have a Uniform Division, guys. I know you guys might not know that, but they have a Uniform Division. You see them mostly more in Washington, D.C. by the White House.
To my understanding. Maybe I have to get that clarified. And so that is one important point to be able to understand in regards to what that level of security about what the inner perimeter looks like. In regards to the ability to carry a firearm outside of the inner perimeter, again, our state law allows for the particular right to carry a firearm.
Or he might be Milwaukee Police Department as well. Might be the chief or higher-ranking officer in there. Because that badge does look like it could pass as federal, but probably no. Probably the chief of police or high-ranking for the locals.
City cannot legislate out of that, and I don't know if our mayor wants to speak on that anymore.
Yeah.
In regards to
Okay,
that.
he said mayor.
And so
the chief of police, guys.
For we, in regards to our law enforcement aspect, we have to operate within those guidelines. Unless it's something that is against state law, we have to respect Second Amendment right. You carry your firearm, especially in regards to open carry or carry and conceal if you're licensed. And so that is a, again, issue that we have to navigate. And I will say this, and I've said this many times, as that is your right, please exercise your right in a responsible manner. Please ensure that the behaviors that we would like to see for those with that responsibility aligns with that responsibility. The Milwaukee Police Department will not tolerate any particular behaviors outside of what is legally allowed.
Confirm, Milwaukee Police Department.
In regards to that right.
He's probably the chief.
Thank you, Chief. And just to reiterate what the Chief said, local ordinances in the state of Wisconsin do not supersede state law. Wisconsin is an open carry state, and therefore the city of Milwaukee and no other jurisdiction in this state can supersede that state law. Folks should be aware, though, that proactively before the convention get started, we did take action at the local level to ban items that we could ban. So we used our authority already at the municipal level to take that sort of security precaution that we were able to do. But in terms of banning weapons in the outer perimeter, that is not within our purview because of state law.
Dan Simmons with the New York Times for the Secret Service. If there have been any changes to the overall security plan, have there been changes to the protection plan for the former president, his family, and other elected officials?
So I'm the RNC coordinator, so I can only speak to the National Special Security event. The plans that we have in place.
It's like, don't say shit.
Will continue as is, and we're confident in those plans.
This is probably the SAC, special agent in charge, and this is probably like maybe the publicist or something like that, which is pretty common, guys. A lot of the times when you have like outreach people, etc., in federal law enforcement agencies, a lot of times it'll be a female. They do that on purpose, obviously, to be a little bit more inclusive. Like our outreach people almost always were females when I worked at HSI. Publicists, etc. I don't even know what the fuck this reporter asking. What the hell is she saying? Oh, where does this nigga come from? Oh, shit.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Michael Hensel. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI for the state of Wisconsin.
Okay, boom. Okay, so he's a SAC of the FBI. Probably out of Milwaukee. Let me see here. She just came out of nowhere. I was like, what the hell? FBI Milwaukee. Boom. Yep, here he is right here. Michael Hensley, special agent in charge. So, yeah, so it is a SAC office, Milwaukee, which, okay, just so you, give me ones in the chat if you guys want me to explain to you the difference between SAC offices and other types of offices and what that means specifically. Give me ones if you guys want me to explain it, twos if you guys want me to just move on. Because I have explained this plenty of times before, but I don't want to be redundant here. So give me ones if you guys want me to explain, two if you guys want me to just keep pushing. All right, I see the longtime watchers are saying twos, but I'm seeing a lot of ones as well. All right, so the special agent in charge, or the SAC, or the SAIC, as the FBI calls it, is typically the special agent in charge that runs a field office, guys. And whenever you have a SAC office, that typically means that it's going to be a bigger office. We're talking somewhere between 50 to 100 plus agents whenever it's a SAC office, right? Or more, a couple hundreds of agents. And within that SAC office, right, you got SAC. So I'll give you an example, right? So you go FBI San Antonio, right? I'm very familiar with this office because I worked with the FBI in San Antonio for a while, right? So these are the satellite offices, right? So their main office is San Antonio, but they have satellite offices which are called RAC offices, or resident agent in charge offices, in Austin, Brownsville, Del Rio, Laredo, McAllen, Waco, and each of them cover different counties, and that's their AOR area of responsibility. And then obviously the San Antonio office is the main field office, and that is like the umbrella. So think you got the main umbrella office, and then you have other offices underneath that are smaller in stature, but they all work under one big main field office. Does that make sense, guys? So this guy right here, right, is the special agent in charge of the Milwaukee field office, and then all the little RAC offices underneath in the state of Wisconsin fall under him. Give me ones in the chat that it makes sense. Give me twos if it doesn't make sense, and tell me why.